Hello, everyone! It is so great to be back here in the studio, streaming live from New York. Feels so good to say that. Like, how many people have said that? I mean, probably a lot, but it feels really good to say that. Hi, everyone. I am Sam Anderson. I am a designer at Adobe on the Adobe XD team, which is what today's 30 minutes are all about. Today is day one. Feel free to say hi in the chat on Behance. Today's day one of our impeccable week of two weeks of challenges. And we are going to be, hey Tim, hey Amanda, Anna, oh my gosh, people are in the chat. Wow, this is so exciting. Yeah, we're back here. It's exciting. And today is even more exciting because we're doing some designing and it's gonna get fun. So I'd love to see where you're all coming from. Claudia's coming from Stockholm. Oh my gosh, what time is it in Stockholm? I wonder that. Here in New York, it is 2:30. So you'll notice sometimes we stream out of San Francisco and it's earlier in the morning there. But hello to everyone that's chiming in. Cindy, Olga, hello. Emily, oh my gosh, this is just brilliant. Oh my gosh. Wafa from Lyon. Oh, France. Ooh, I wanted to go there for a conference a few years ago. There's this interaction design conference, and one of the past years it was in Lyon. You should look it up. The interaction conference hosted by IXDA. Really, really great conference. It's like the conference for the field of interaction design and UX design. And if you're a student or just getting started in this field, try to get in as a volunteer because that's how you can get the hookup. Hey Rachel, hello, Lizette, hello Lance, hello everyone. Thank you for chiming in. Let's dive into the challenge here because we're learning. Oh, Chicago. Okay, hey Justin, I'm from Chicago, so we're diving into our daily creative challenge here. You can learn more at behance.net/challenge/xd, and you click that little blue button and you'll get notifications each day. There's a new challenge that we're going to tackle on the UX and UI design front with Adobe XD. So you'll get notifications. Here are each of the challenges. There's where you can get your starter file for this, which is what we're going to be diving into right after this introduction. So look at that. Also, this section down here at the bottom right can connect you with our Discord, our Discord, which is like our big group chat. And there's thousands of people in here, thousands of people. So just online right now, 814, but there's thousands that are not online, which is awesome. And this channel, current-challenge, that's a key channel for us because that's where we're going to be submitting our feedback to each other, our designs. Eventually they'll go out to Behance. I'll show you how you can do that at the end. So this is very exciting. We're giving critique. We're giving positive, constructive critique so that we can make everyone a better designer and, build ourselves up so we can, dominate in the design world as we all want to do. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. But we're going to dive into something here, and that is our design. And so we have a prompt for today. And so today is our first day with a challenge. And so I'll read that for you here. And also I'm a designer on the XD team. So if you're like running into any roadblocks, shoot me a message right here in the chat. I have it pulled up live so I can read your messages. There's a few seconds of delay from right now to when I can read it. So count for that. So here it is. Our first challenge: create a mobile marketplace where people can resell or donate used clothing. Give sellers the option to write fun stories for their clothing using overlays. Use prototype mode to link screens together to tell the story of how your app is used. This one's really exciting for me because I worked on a similar project in Copenhagen. After I graduated from high school, I studied in Copenhagen for a month, and we did this awesome project that was very similar to this, and so I'm drawing a lot of inspiration from that project. And so I've given you some additional inspiration here for what your flow can look like. It doesn't have to be too heavy of an experience. We're looking at like one simple flow, so just a few screens. Hey Baco, hey Tim, oh my gosh, everyone is here. For those that are new to XD, I'm seeing a few people that are new to XD. Don't worry. I'll start from scratch. Well, I have some things that I'm starting with here, but if you have any questions, I'll demonstrate everything that I'm doing in real time. I have some tips here if you don't watch the stream, so you can watch. You can you can read that, and you guys are all watching this, so you don't need this link, but that takes you back to this page. And some further reading if you want to push your design a little bit more about how you present your ideas. So we're going to dive into this. We want to design. And all these streams are about sustainability, right? So for the next 2 weeks, we're doing all these different topics that we talked about yesterday. Composting, water usage, carpooling, recycling. Look at all these lovely colors. They're lovely colors because they're lovely topics. So our first one is, getting people to reuse clothing to enhance that secondhand clothing experience. And so I have an idea for this app where we could call it Second Story, and it's about how people can give away their clothing, attach a story to that clothing, so that people, if they want to buy or receive that clothing as a donation, perhaps, then they see that piece of story that's attached to that clothing, like something that might be important to someone for that piece of clothing that they no longer want, or maybe it doesn't fit them anymore. And so it's called Second Story. So because how many times have you been to Goodwill or Salvation Army and you're looking at all these interesting clothing items and you're wondering, like, where have they been, and like what stories are like ingrained and weaved in them? So let's reveal those. And so I've set up just 2 screens here. And I made this logo for that first project I was talking about in Copenhagen, and I'm reusing that, where it's 2 clothes hangers and they make a little heart. I think it's cute. You think it's cute? I think it's cute. It's a fun one. It's one of my favorites. So I think we're gonna go with it. What do you think? Hi, Wendy, Joe, Julia. Hey, thanks for tuning in. This is great. So we have 2 screens here. And, this is easy to set up, but we want to really break this down, where they open up this app and the first thing they would do is add an item. Like, this item, I want to attach a story and I want to give it away, attach a price, maybe give it away for free, give it a name, and write that story out, because that's the key part of this experience. And we're not doing any of the other parts unless we have extra time, like what it would be like to browse and see what pieces of clothing are on the market. We're not doing that quite yet. We're just focusing on the first time experience of selling an item. So I also made this, and this is a good start. So this would be your screen that you would hit after add an item. So it would be, here we go. So we do add an item, and this card slides up. And this is where we can add a photo, give the item a name, and tell that story, and set a price as well. I'm glad you guys are liking the concept. That's really fun. Lizbeth is asking how I made that logo, and I actually drew it, and then I scanned it, and then put it into Illustrator and crisped up those lines and made them straight, and made it a little bit more tidy. But yeah, it started with a drawing. You can use the Adobe Scan app on your phone to turn a drawing into a vector piece of art, which is very handy. But okay, so this card is great, but this is too many steps to throw at someone at one time. So a general paradigm of user experience design is that let's do one thing at a time. So we're actually going to break this down. I'm going to move all this group down, right? And I'm going to move these items down because they are no longer relevant. So actually, when you hit add an item, and this card, which is actually on this first artboard, that's how it slides in, because it's on the first artboard and the second artboard. It's just changing position with our auto animate action. So that's how we have it animate up really, really smoothly like that. And we're just having it animate up just to the first part here, because we actually only want them to add a photo. And then we'll get to the whole experience. They'll add information as they go along it. So they're not seeing everything and they have to do everything all at once. And so I have a picture of a shirt that we're going to use. So let's pull that in. And so we have this yellow shirt. And so basically they're going to tap, add a photo, and that will add a shirt. They'll choose their photo, right? So, let's drag it in to that shape right there, and we'll take away the add photo section. And as soon as they do that, it's actually going to move up to the second stage. And so now they can add, let's say, the name and the price. And so what we're going to do is we could also add like a photo picker, but we just don't have enough time for that today. But you could actually add that quite easily by inserting another artboard right between these two as a step for choosing from your album, your photo album. And so we're in prototype mode here. Let me go full screen again. And if we drag a wire from this first this section, right, which is we want a tap interaction and we want it to go to the next one. And so we'll set that as a tap. I just drag that as a wire to that next artboard. Easy. And we'll set it as tap because we do want it to be a tap. There's other triggers there that we can play around with as well. And then we'll do auto animate. That is that feature that I talked about that will look at what elements are the same between these two artboards and animate between them. So because this is actually the same group, I duplicated these artboards. It's just going to move up because I moved it up and it will dissolve in this photo. And so if we look at what this looks like so far, it's add an item, and everything kind of like moves out of the way. Diana, nice for you to join in. Could you mention any keyboard shortcut you use? I will try to stay on top of that and let you know what keyboard shortcuts I'm using as I use them. So add a photo, we tap that, look, it comes up and that photo dissolves in. Pretty slick. And so now that's a good first step for adding a photo. And then the next step would be to, if you want to, you can add like once. The next step is to tap on that name, right? And to give this item a name, right? And so let's call it like yellow or like happy, yellow shirt. And so, or how about just yellow shirt? Because we don't have enough room for happy yellow shirt. And so that sounds perfect. And so this little pencil is just indicating to them that they can tap it and they can edit. And so that is what either of these are going to be what they tap on to get to this next state. And you could add, I'm doing a simplified version of this experience just to give you the idea, but you could add that keyboard, make that slide up so that it actually looks like they are typing it in. So that would be a nice little add to add to your design. And we're going to keep it free. So they tap on item name, yellow shirt, they type that in, and if they wanted to change the price, they could do that as well. And so I'm going to delete this one because that doesn't have the photo anymore. It doesn't have our new name as well. And then it's going to slide up just one more time like this. And this is where they can add their story. And so this is a fun part of that experience. Right? So, okay. Let's make sure this is all going well, right? So, okay. Okay, they change the name. Okay, actually, we're going to skip this one because we want it to go up and show that the name has changed. So we're actually going to do the name change and slide up at the same time, if that makes sense. Yeah? Let me know which parts, if you want to go dive deep, we'll have a few extra minutes where we can dive deep on a few of these extra functionalities. But I'm just going to go fast at the beginning and we can dive into it right after, just so we can get that flow done, right? So it'll slide up, yellow shirt, go up at the same time and ask for that story. And so let's look at what that looks like now. So add an item. Nice. We can take our photo. It slides up with our photo. We can change the name. Actually, you know what? I think it works. It works. But like maybe they change the name and then there's a delay and then it slides up. We could work on that. And then they add the story. And so that's going to be just one more step. Let's duplicate this. And they would tap on this. The keyboard would come up again. And then we could have them enter their story. And so I've pre-written the story. I had fun with this. This was fun. This is a fun part of the project, to write the story. I encourage you to actually write a story and not use lorem ipsum filler text, because it adds, brings it up to that next level, and that's what you want. And so here's the story I came up with. I've worn this to numerous happy occasions in my teenage years. I remember going to my best friend's birthday wearing this shirt. Somewhere out there is a Polaroid of her and I in front of the biggest cake I've ever seen. I've grown out of it since, and it needs a new home. Wow, isn't that so wholesome? I love that. Of course I love it. I wrote it. So have fun writing your own fictional story about a fictional piece of clothing. Or, why not? Take a picture of your own shirt. That can be fun. So this is a great way that we're progressing. And so after they do that, they're going to hit the next button, and that's going to continue with this experience. So I imagine it will everything will slide down. Oh, actually, so I didn't put this, I copied this text box over, but I didn't put it into this group. So I've grouped everything that's on this card, and I'm going to put it into the group by opening the group, which is just clicking into it, and then doing Command V to paste. So that way the text box is actually inside the group as opposed to outside. If you just paste it without anything selected, it'll paste outside the group, and we want it to stay inside the group. Because why that's important, it looks the same, but why that's important is because of auto animate. Because when we animate between the two states, it will look so much better. Like everything will move as one. You see that? Cool. So it will slide down. We don't need this anymore. It will slide down. We're just going to keep it one pixel, just a single pixel on the artboard, so it doesn't actually snap off the artboard. Because look, if we move it down, it's now actually not on the artboard, it's on the pasteboard. So these little tiny details to get the hang of. So just to tell XD that this is actually on the artboard, it's not in no man's land. We're just gonna put it one pixel on. If that line bothers you, you can actually reduce it to 0% opacity as well. And then we can put our thank you message in. And so we can copy. This is, by the way, Hauschka rounded is the typeface. I kind of dig it. Don't you like it? Okay. Thank you for the details, right? And then the next step would be like, okay, this person has to get this item to like this facility or wherever it's going to be distributed, right? So the next step, we can hint at that, and feel free to add this to your design if you would like, but is going to be like ship my item, right? And so that will be that next step. And perhaps even if you do want to design that out, I would encourage that you just you throw them into that next step as soon as they hit next, as opposed to having them tap another button. So I'm going to I just made this thank you screen, and this button, I want it to be there when they hit the next button, hiding under the card. So to do that, here it is. I just pasted it. I copied it and pasted it here, but I'm going to send it to the back. You guys want to know the shortcut. So it's Command Shift and the first bracket key. And that just sent it all the way to the back. So look, if we take a peek, whoa, it's still under there. We don't need this anymore. Let's delete that. And so it's still under there. And so that way, when we do auto animate, we'll select the button, because we want the button to be what is clicked, or tapped actually, because this is mobile. We'll do tap, auto animate. Boom. Okay, let's look this over one more time, and I'll show you how to upload it to Behance. Add an item, add a photo, give it a name, yellow shirt. Let's add the story. Oh, we didn't wire that part. So sometimes this happens. So from here to here, we'll just actually make this whole text box a tap, and then auto animate works as well. So what's the story? We tap on that, we fill it out, we hit next, and look, thank you for the details, and then we can ship our item. Not bad, not bad. You'll notice that when it slides down and goes to 0% opacity. That's because we set it to 0% opacity here. So if we you'll notice if we change it to 100%, it'll actually look a little different. See, it's staying 100% opacity throughout that duration of that transition. Little things that you'll tune your eye towards these little tiny details as you grow as a designer, if they're not something that you're familiar with already. So it's all about, designers just love getting caught up on these little details, and that's just one of them. So that's great. I really wish we could, flush this out even further, because I think this could be really fun. And what does the experience of like looking for an item? Let's say this is Let Go. This is a popular app right now. I'm sure many of you have used it, where you can look at people's items, right? But this is largely focused on just buying and selling, right? There's no stories attached there. So how would this app be different if you can actually see the stories? So when you have your design, again, Discord, this is key here, because you can actually share that into Discord. I'll show you how you can do that. When you have your link here, okay, actually the link comes next. So you make your design, you prototype all these wires out, and each wire is going from one artboard to the next. The thing is, you want to share it. You want to share it with people. So if you've played around with it a few times and it's looking good, you add your story, hit the next button. Actually, I think we can make that last slide, a little faster. It feels nice. If anything, this is just like a pro tip for motion design. If anything is exiting the screen, you want it to exit the screen like really fast. If it's entering the screen, that can be a little slower. Not too slow, but you do want anything that's exiting the screen, get it out of the way as soon as possible. So this used to be 0.6 seconds on a snap, but I think we're going to change that to either like 0.4 or 0.2. Let's look at what 0.2 looks like. Boom. Wow, that's fast. It feels more responsive. Like if you can pull out your phone, download the Adobe XD app, and preview it on your phone, and and you can actually play around with your prototype as you make it in real time. And so that is a really solid way to test, is the type big enough? Is this readable? Does this look like a button? These are big buttons, by the way. Your buttons don't have to be this big, but don't let them be too small. And that's something that actually seeing them on your device will really help with. It'll help you, because you don't want to be siloed on the screen. You need to test it in the environment. So just putting that on the phone is super helpful. So you hit share. That's how we share. Pretty easy. And you can do share for review, and you can generate a link. You create a link. This is handy. You can share this link in Discord. I highly encourage that so that we can, so that we can talk about it and discuss it. You can also copy and embed code. So let's say you talk about it on Discord, you get some feedback, you do version 2, let's say, you're giving it your all. So you do version 2, then you can go on to Behance. You can make a really long image to talk about your app and what your idea is. Maybe you can talk about the daily creative challenge just a little bit. If you have design principles, this is really great for any kind of longer project, or you can just share out what your designs look like. And this is one that I did on a previous live stream. It's called Pensive. It's a pen pal writing app. It's a fun one. Anyway, so I made this really long artboard, and that's where I have all these different sections, and I'm showing off the design. And so the way we get here is create a project. That's on behance.com, and this will go to your profile. So when you have that, I just hit save. But what I meant to do is you can upload that. You can set your cover image, give it a title, like this, crop and continue. And when you're uploading it, in this step here, under discoverability, this tab, you actually want to add a keyboard. Not a keyboard, a keyword. So that's XD Daily Challenge. And so if you add that keyword, it will show up when you publish it with everyone else's. Look how glorious these are. And so if you want yours to show up with everyone else's, be sure to include that tag, XD Daily Challenge. And that's where you can see everyone's work. And we can kind of see how everyone's progressing in their final designs. So pretty cool. Definitely come back and post that on, let's see. Okay, we're back to my main screen. I have to wrap up now, but be sure to share your designs, have fun with it. I'll be giving feedback in Discord, so share those links out. And I will be back here tomorrow at the same exact time, and we'll have a brand new challenge to work with. So looking forward to that. I'll see you all tomorrow, and just rock out. Have fun designing. Bye-bye, everyone.